is something we need. It's a leap of faith. Oh, if you have the will and the moment to spare, it's a beautiful world out there. It's a beautiful world out there.
We start our walk on the outskirts of the town of Burntisland. Today, Burntisland is known for its summer-long fairground at the beachfront. However, people have been living in this area for at least 4,000 years. Roman commander Agricola used the natural harbour and set up camp at the nearby Binnend hill in AD 83. Further along the Binn, there are rock carvings which date back thousands of years. The town we see today dates from the 12th century, when the monks of Dunfermline Abbey owned the harbour and the neighbouring lands. Known then as Wester Kinghorn, the town quickly developed as a fishing hamlet to provide food for the inhabitants of Rossend Castle. As we climb the hill, we reach an abandoned industrial village known as Binnend. It was established in the 1880s to house workers at the nearby shale oil extraction works. The oil works closed in 1892 and the village was sent into decline. The village was briefly used during World War I to house staff of the Admiralty working in Rosyth and to provide accommodation for troops. It was also given to women who had lost their husbands during the war and provided affordable housing for workers at the nearby aluminium works and shipyards. After the war, the village was used as holiday homes. However, with no piped water, gas, electricity or sanitation, the village all but closed in 1931. Two couples continued to live in the village until the 1950s. As we continue across the Binn, we take the opportunity to appreciate the amazing landscape. Imagine 340 million years ago, when the rocks you see today are formed. Amphibians are hauling themselves onto the land as the very first land animals. Fife sits at the burning edge as two supercontinents collide. Equatorial lagoons full of blue-green algae blooms, massive swamps and luscious pine forests lay down the thick organic plant debris. At other times, there are tropical coral seas and sandy river deltas. But as the continents collide, massive volcanoes quickly spew ash and lava, and these relic volcanoes are evident even today, with Kingswood End, the Binn that we walk today, Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh, Ash Rock, the Lomond Hills and more. Where we stand is doomed. Everything will be overrun by lava. 800 metres thick of basalt lava flows spread over the land in eruptions over a period of 50 million years. The hot rock at depth squeeze and bake the organic beds, turning them into thick shale and coal seams. These Carboniferous period lavas form the steep escarpment so typical of this area, with softer sandstone and limestone in between. For the last 1 million years, the Earth has been in the grip of an ice age, which has covered virtually all of Britain. It's not over yet. We are currently in the warm period, which will end. The glaciers retreated from Scotland only 10,000 years ago. The Ice Age formed the landscape we have now. 12,000 years ago, nothing could live here, with 1,000 foot of ice covering us, migrating slowly from the centre of Scotland to the North Sea ice sheet. A huge lump of ice sat beneath the clay, and when it melted, it left Kinghorn Loch, known as a kettle hole. The steep ridges and deep gullies, now largely filled with boulder clay, are typical relics of the Ice Age. Far from the Genesis days, the land is now full of nature. In spring you will see the bright yellow cowslips, and from May abundant red campion. Bumblebees busy themselves around the thistles, and the rosebay willow herb, and the place generally abounds with groups of goldfinch. You will hear the plaintive meow before seeing the buzzard circling on the rising air currents, or the drumming of the great spotted woodpecker, and if you're lucky you may see roe deer and brown hare on the grasslands. As we climb down from the Binn, we visit the Earthship on the banks of Kinghorn Loch. Just as a ship setting out on a long voyage must provide for all the needs of its crew, so an airship provides the basic needs of shelter, water and electricity through its design and systems. An Earthship is a passive solar building with thermal mass. This means that it maintains a comfortable living temperature year-round. It is made from natural recycled materials, predominantly earth-ram tyres and aluminium cans. It is powered by renewable energy such as wind, water and solar power. It catches its own water supply from rainwater and treats and contains its own sewage and planter beds. As we look around, we see lots of evidence of this, including a shed built from old plastic bottles. We return via Kinghorn Pettiker Bay, which is a small, sheltered, sandy-packed bay with sand dunes. The beach has been awarded a Seaside Beach Award for several years. As the tide recedes at Pettiker, it exposes a huge area of sand and mudflats, which go all the way out to the Black Rocks, and all the way to Burntisland Beach, which at extremely low tide, and with care, it is possible to walk. We only just made it back, scrambling over a couple of rocks near the end, so importantly, remember to check the tide times.